So good. All right, we're going to try this again.
Disruptor.
Reserve time.
Top of the morning to y'all. Welcome back to Beyond the Summit. It's been a while, guys, but we are very excited to be bringing you some GEST Dota 2 action. I'm LD. You may have forgotten about me. You may not have. I'm joined here today by Gods. We're actually casting in 2 different rooms, but we are finally living in the same house. That's step 1 towards building the studio. Step 2 is to actually get the equipment, the furniture, and set it all up. That process is underway. I swear it is. But we're not ready just yet. So for today, this will seem like a standard cast. But after the game's end, we go and we drink beers in the kitchen together, and we have fun. So how you doing, Gods?
I'm doing good. Step 3 is to get me away from playing Borderlands 2 and saving Pandora and actually casting some Dota 2.
It's actually really bad. Like every time I go in his room, I'm like thinking about Beyond the Summit. I'm like, all right, we need to work on this. We need to work on that. He's just playing Borderlands.
Pandora needs saving, okay? Like, if I'm not going to save Pandora, who is LD?
Ridiculous. So we're seeing something interesting with this game. Some serious hate for the Batrider. A second pick, but first choice for 9 of a Disruptor. So we don't know anything about these two teams, at least I certainly don't. Malay All-Stars facing off against 9 in the GST Dota 2 Malaysia qualifier.
Remaining.
I guess the background of this tournament is basically one team from Malaysia will qualify for the GST Dota 2 main event. And that includes every team from Malaysia. Even though Orange won the last event, they don't get a berth directly into the main tournament. So, well, it's a tough road for anybody not named Orange.
It's pretty brutal, and that's when you're looking at some of the other strong teams that are there. Invasion, Winter's new team, ABC. There's some tough contenders in Malaysia, and, well, they're going to have their work cut out for them if they want to qualify for this GEST Dota 2. And this is two pretty much upcoming teams. It's one of those great tournaments where you get to see teams give it their all and actually get a shot at competing with Orange and just playing in the local scene. So it really does help grow some of these local tournaments.
That's pretty much the goal of this tournament for anyone who's wondering. The
10
GST and
seconds
GMPGL are all about really growing the scene in Southeast Asia. It's not just about throwing the top teams into an event. It's about giving opportunity to the little guys, and we're going to see one of the little guys in this game, or at least someone representing him falsely. We have a Kachik Imba, either impersonator or stand-in. I'm not sure which. He's got the Kachik Imba orange logo. Of course, he is the small but powerful one, is the rough translation. So, yeah, it's only appropriate, I guess, for this kind of an early stage of the tournament. But we saw an early Batrider pick, and the quick response to the Disruptor glimpse, obviously one of the best ways to deal with that Blink lasso attempt. And Lifestealer, great for dealing with the Luna. So we're seeing kind of counter pick wars here with the Shadow Demon. Well, selected before the Lifestealer, but still obviously a great way to deal with him.
Remaining.
Yeah, and Luna being picked up after the Lifestealer, so maybe we see some sort of 5-man type Dota coming out of the Malay All-Stars, and it's a good way to deal with Lifestealer before Lifestealer gets too big. Sure, you've got a 6-second range and can fight into a push, but until you get a lot of items, it's really hard to deal with that. Very early Disruptor pick, that's sort of a big surprise for me. I guess 9 and just feeling very confident using this hero as a support.
Yeah, I mean, he can be one of the best ways to deal with Batrider, but he needs a lot of levels, and a hero like Batrider can get aggressive against Disruptor in the laning stage. Disruptor doesn't do well against him at the laning stage, it's just in the mid-game where he could be a real potent counter. It's a good team fight hero as well, and maybe they're worried about that 5-man. One of the best, I would say, counter gankering supports. If you can get off that kinetic field, the Static Storm, the Glimpse at the right time, you can really shut down any sort of aggression. So, with that being said, they then ban out a Sven. And I guess that is a pretty scary roaming combo, the Shadow Demon Sven, but that's 2 setup stuns, so kind of an odd ban. I wonder what the lanes are going to be here. 9's laning stage looking, well, not the strongest with the Disruptor pick.
Yeah, if you go for the Lifestealer and then you have a Disruptor as a support, there's not a ton of killing power there. For Malay All-Stars, they've really got 2 options here. They can either run Luna as a safe lane solo or just run Luna in the tri-lane. If they want to, I guess that's where you see the Sven ban coming. If they want to run an offensive tri-lane with a Sven, Shadow Demon, and one other hero, they can do that because they've got a hero like Luna who can just play as a safe lane solo. But For the most part, yeah, Nine don't have the strongest lanes yet. They can change that very quickly if they get sort of a combo stunner or some additional burst damage in their tri lane, and that's what they're going to need up against. I mean, this trio of heroes from the Dire team, the Malaysian All Stars, because they've got some very strong laning heroes.
So I've been living under a rock, and during that time, Silencer has made his way into the CM pool. Interesting to see him banned in the first stage.
Oh yeah.
Didn't even notice that earlier, but I haven't seen him play much. Have you cast any games with him? Is he a strong pick right now?
I think I've casted one game with him. He seems to get picked here and there, but for the most part, he hasn't had great success. It's not like teams have been winning very convincing with him and thinking, oh, we got to pick him earlier in the draft. I think it's the opposite effect. Initially, teams were picking him up in the first 3 picks, but they kind of quickly realized he wasn't as strong as he could be. He can excel sort of as a solo mid hero. He's a nice little counter. Well, not so much as a counter, he just kind of dominates the mid lane because of the new last word. So he works really well against some of the popular mid heroes like Queen of Pain and Puck because of the reliable damage and silence. But beyond that, in the mid game, mid to late game, he's not all that effective. I mean, sure, you've got a global silence, but he's very item dependent. So he seems to be a bit of a situational fringe pick, something we may see here and there as a 4th or 5th pick, but I don't think he's going to be seen regularly.
And he's also kind of got Shadow Fiend syndrome. If you do want to run him solo mid, as you mentioned, one of his strengths is that 1v1 matchup, just the ability to force a hero to spam their spells when they don't want to, do a ton of damage with the new last word. But he's very gankable. Even when he gets that ultimate, if he doesn't get it off before he gets stunned, he's dead. He's fairly squishy, so... like you said, I think a situational pick, but we'll see. Maybe some team will prove us wrong and it'll become top pick material. As for 9, they already have a support, a solo, and a lifestealer. Not really the best choice to offensive tri-lane, so we do expect defensive tri-lane from them most likely. And it's going to be a Darkseer, so probably a Darkseer offlane, lifestealer tri-lane, and then Queen of Pain going mid would be my guess at this point. Pretty mobile lineup, I think is the way to put it for 9. They have a lot of chasing power and escape power, so whether they want to join the fight or run away, they can do both of those things quite well.
Yeah, and at this point, I think it's unlikely that the Malay All-Stars run the Luna safe lane just because it doesn't match up well against the Darkseer. So most likely they go for a sort of a safe lane, tri-lane. Shadow Demon Leshrac can actually spend a lot of time roaming. They can even look to gank them. If it's a mid lane Queen of Pain, you can gank a Queen of Pain if you time that stun after the disruption. So they have some strong roaming potential, and 9 you're going to have to go, like you say, safe lane, tri-lane with the lifestealer. Just look to get him basically really farmed and focus on some of those mid-game team fights, get Queen of Pain to control the game and the flow of tempo for them. For Malaysian All-Stars, last pick coming up now, if they want to run Batrider either as an offlaner or even in the jungle and just abandon the offlane, they could get a solo mid here. So we'll have to see kind of where they want to go with this last pick.
I'm excited. I want to see something different. I don't know if we will. I heard a Bloodseeker was played over in the European scene while I was sort of busy packing, moving, and driving. Anything is possible in these sorts of qualifiers, but with these two teams being relatively unknown, it does seem like a standard draft so far. Boo. Yep, service. Very standard.
As standard as it gets.
Jesus. I mean, like, just, you guys disgust me. No, of course, I still love you. Just a little bit less. But 9, what is that last pick going to be? They really need that probably that secondary support.
Yeah.
Although,
if they want to get greedy, maybe they go for something like an Enigma jungle here. I mean, Disruptor Lifesteal is a really weak lane, but if you're up against just something like an offlane Windrunner,
yeah, you're fine.
I mean, you're fine. Yeah, exactly. And you can make use of the Enigma jungle a lot more than the Shadow Demon Leshrac. As long as your Darkseer doesn't give up too many kills against the Shadow Demon Leshrac, you're doing pretty well here, but 9, yeah, I mean, something like an Enigma could help them out in those mid-game team fights. You've still got a Lasso there, but I think all in all, they need something which, I mean, can deal with all the burst damage and strong laning that the Malaysian All-Stars have. So maybe they just go for a strong support hero.
Yeah, I mean, there's also something like a Chen, another way to be greedy. The problem is they don't have anyone that combos particularly well with him, so they can't really roam a whole lot. But it is a hero that can farm very quickly. And let's see what they go for with this last pick. They are biding their time. So, with all that being said, this is only round 1 of this tournament, guys. It is, I forget exactly how many rounds it is. I think it's around 32 teams, so 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like 5
seconds.
5 or 6 rounds, I want to say, total. Not everything's going to be played today, just the first few rounds. They do go for that 4 position, the secondary support. Pick up the Sand King, and it's time to get into the laning stage.
Yeah, I like the Sand King. I think it works well against, I mean, you've got relatively squishy heroes all around from the Malaysian All-Stars. If you can hit a 2 or 3 hero Burrow Strike, that's something which can really turn the tides of a battle. And I think this more than a jungler is actually going to be able to help them have a good time in the mid game, because that's really going to be where they're going to have some issues here. They needed a hero to provide them some support, some lockdown, while they wait for the Darkseer to get some items up, while they wait for Lifesteal to get nice and farmed.
All right, so if anybody thinks I'm drunk, I'm not. I actually have a new mouse, which I'm going to test out, as well as the Smooth Drag and Spectate. So, if it seems like I'm drunk, I wish I was, but no, I'm actually quite sober. Just trying out some new stuff here, guys. So bear with me. Thanks for your patience. With all that being said, this is the GEST Dota 2 GMPGL Malaysia Qualifier. And quickly, we will introduce the teams as we have a pause on the Dire side in the orange trunks to start. We have FYZ on the Batrider, ADTR with an early smoke on the Shadow Demon, Castile on the Leshrac and Sentries and Observers for him, LOD on the Windrunner, stand-in who, again, I believe might be Kachikimba playing that Luna, or at least Kachikimba's biggest fan.
I'm pretty sure it's him from just looking at his profile and just some of his friends there, so I think for all intents and purposes, it is him. And going up.
So how does this work if they somehow make it into playing against Orange? Does he throw the game?
Well, I think, I don't know if he throws the game, but I mean, for him as a player, it's good practice. So Orange have a 6th member. They don't want him just sitting around watching their games. If he's playing in tournaments and competing, it's probably better for his individual growth. So
that would be quite a story if those two teams, let's say they come up and match each other, and Kachikimba's not having a good game. Well, we'll see. I'm just trying to create some drama. I haven't had enough in my life recently. Everybody's too polite and friendly at the house here. So
sabotage. Also an unpause. Okay, they're going to repause themselves. Over on the Radiant side, though, we've got the other team, 9 Esports, or Noob is no excuse. Esports. We've got Popsicle playing the Queen of Pain. We've got the Lifestealer being played by Kens. X Flapjack playing the Disruptor. We've got X Stitch X. Or just Stitch, I guess. He's just surrounded his name with X's. Well, they're all going for that look, actually. Him and the Disruptor. Flapjack as well as Stitch.
So it's really X, Stitch, and Flapjack, then, it looks like.
Yeah, and then...
See, I was thinking this guy's Vin Diesel, but apparently I'm not. Yeah,
he's not Triple X, unfortunately. It's just following along the trends. The rest of the team don't have the X's. Kens, as well as Popsicle, are not up with the trends. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, just more disappointments. This is just a day, a night of disappointments, really. I don't have my coffee machine set up, so I'm stuck on green tea. All is not well. Gods is trying to convince me that I should stop drinking coffee, but I am not convinced. It looks like they want to get this Queen of Pain matched up 1-on-1 against the Batrider. She started with an early Magic Stick. Really, either that or expecting an offensive tri-lane, which is possible from us. They could, but like you said, the Luna just doesn't match up well against Darkseer, so that's something where if the Luna gets shut down, this team has no 5-man presence mid-game, because a lot of that 5-man relies on the Luna getting her core items and getting up that early level 7. So if they go offensive tri-lane, that's a pretty big gamble, to say the least.
Yeah, well, Queen of Pain does have a Magic Stick, so it will be a rotation towards the mid lane, I'm guessing, even though heading down bottom just, I guess, to do some initial scouting. I'd be very surprised if they ran Queen of Pain.
She's already skilled Shadow Strike, which you really shouldn't do in this situation. You definitely want to leave that skill point in reserve. If you get caught out, you can skill Blink. Otherwise, yes, use Shadow Strike in the laning stage. But
yeah, absolutely. Walk into a 5-man, level 1 roam and splat. Although, once you get to the mid lane and you're in a 1v1 against Batrider, the Shadow Strike's much more useful, but for the time being, having it this early on is not going to help you at all.
Oh man, this smooth scroll. It's so sexy.
It is. It takes some getting used to, but I was having some fun with that.
I feel like, have you ever gone go-karting where you can't fully, I don't know, go-karts are not very easy to steer, especially the cheaper, not the super hardcore ones. And you're just kind of you could say I want my vehicle to go in that direction, but you can't actually make it go exactly where you want. So you're kind of bouncing into walls of other vehicles. That's sort of how my camera feels right now. Just going left.
I used it for a few of the games I was commentating, but just stopped using it because I felt way too drunk and stuff. But I'm going to use it now, while I'm not on camera, to get used to it more. So you can be the guinea pig that we're throwing in to use it while I get some good practice.
Yeah, this is a tool of the trade. I've got to learn it. Batrider's starting with the boot, so we actually looks like a jungle bat. Interesting choice. But he's going mid. This does not help you 1v1 versus Queen of Pain.
Yeah, I'm wondering who he expects to be up against. Windrunner may just go mid lane and then they abandon the off lane, because realistically against a tri lane, Windrunner or Batrider should not get any XP. Maybe if you block well and get the range creep out in front so that the lane pushes to your tower, you can get a couple creeps or a wave here and there. But for the most part, if 9 play it well, use their pools, an offlane hero should not get any XP versus a tri-lane. So maybe we see Batrider jungle and Windrunner mid.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing I could think of is they do have the smoke on Shadow Demon, and having the early boots on Bat can allow you to chase down the Queen of Pain for a first blood, even after that initial blink away. But it gives up a lot for your laning stage, so most likely it's just a jungle Bat.
Yeah,
and that's a lot to gamble on a smoke, basically.
No, without a doubt. I mean, there's not really much reason to rush the boots against the Queen of Pain this early on. You're not really getting kills at the very early levels. The Malaysian All-Stars, unfortunately, another disconnect coming out. They seem to be having some problems. It's the same player, I think, having some problems at their cyber cafe.
I'm just swerving around the map right now. I'm pretty sure the stream's going to go ballistic. And if you zoom in, it just like makes you really dizzy. Oh, this is so good.
You can zoom in.
Well, you can't zoom. Like, if you zoom in and then you smooth drag. I'm just like, whoa.
That's one thing that... like Dota spectators, casters using the spectator camera don't use enough of is the zoom in. I remember having fun with that in the 1v1 video match that I recorded and you commentated over. I was having some good fun with the zoom ins.
Yeah, I mean,
I know Adebisi loves to troll with it as well. He's my inspiration.
I've missed kills and like never a big team fight, but there was like one medium-sized engagement in the mid game that I totally just did not cast it because I was too busy zooming in and admiring like how nice Luna's ass looks up close. Yeah, I didn't actually say that, by the way.
That's okay. It's all good here.
So I have no idea which one of these teams is, or who's the favorite team in this matchup. I'd say they're both fairly unknown from everyone I've talked to, but any team that is Kachik Imba standing in may have an unfair advantage.
Yeah, I think Malaysian All-Star. I mean, looking at their draft and just how they've shaped out their draft, and I mean the fact you have Kachik Imba as your stand-in, I think they are going to be. I'd give them the slight edge here right off the bat, but definitely 9 with their draft can do a few things here. Darkseer has gone for early sentries. He's going to go straight into the jungle. I think that's. I mean, Shadow Demon Lestrak is about as strong as a tri-lane you can get with a Luna, giving them additional damage. So, with Darkseer, the smart way is to go straight into the jungle. You want to have the support Sand King trying to get some levels in farm, and for the most part, just make sure Windrunner doesn't get any levels in farm. It is going to be Batrider mid, so Windrunner going to the offlane.
Interesting. We'll see. Maybe they don't even have a good dual lane combo, so and it's not a good roaming lineup. I just can't imagine why he would go boots first. Sometimes you see players go boots first in the off lane if they're worried about getting first blooded, but realistically, Bat's not going to die to this lineup from 9 ES unless they send like 4 heroes towards mid, which you can easily see coming on the map. So a little bit curious, but the laning stage is underway, and well, now he's gonna zoom around real quickly to see Queen of Pain planning a ward top. So it is the off lane Windrunner. You can just go and farm the Ancients. It's a bit slow, but you get something, and I don't think she's going to get a thing out of this one.
Yeah, Disrupted needs to just start harassing, zone this Windrunner out of lane. Windrunner actually got 18 XP, man. There's something.
He went Kinetic Field at level 1, which personally I don't like. I think that Thunderstrike just getting 1 point is a lot better. Like Ether Shock on Shadow Shaman, you can harass them early and drive them out of the lane. Otherwise, you can't really trade auto attacks that effectively unless the Life Stealer is in position. But it looks like LOD's gonna start farming the Ancients, so very passive start for him. Darkseer, no experience, and just having the lane ward here, they know he's out of the lane, and he really could be in the lane, spamming Ion Shell on the creeps, getting that early level 2. I guess he's worried about the movement of these supports, but you can almost always get that level 2 without an early first blood.
I mean, the tri-lane is there because he doesn't know where the Shadow Demon is. Unless he knows they're pulling for sure, he can't really go out because they can kill him at level 1 with the 3 heroes if they get the Shadow Demon Lestrak out there. But they're spending their time pulling. Problem is for Darkseer, he doesn't know that. He's not going to actually de-ward the lane as well at the moment. So he's really, at this point, wasting a lot of time when he should just be in the jungle, I feel.
Yeah, he ran towards the jungle, he ran back towards the lane. Now he's going towards the rune. We'll see if he goes for the jungle after that 2-minute rune, but if he had just started in the jungle, he'd already be level 2. If he had just taken a wrist top, he'd probably already be level 2 since the Shadow Demon had rotated mid. But playing it extremely safely, let's see what rune's going to spawn. So, well, probably one of the most passive games I've cast in recent memory. I haven't cast many in recent memory, but this one certainly qualifies as passive.
Yeah, time being, Rune, no one actually going to grab it as it spawns stop. I imagine Queen of Pain wants to wait for that bottle to come out, or at least wait to see Batrider with a bottle and knowing he has to deny it. And I mean, Batrider mid versus Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain's playing very safe, not really competing much for CS, and I feel that's something that Queen of Pain shouldn't be playing so defensive. I mean, sure, Batrider has these fast boots, but he can't really do a whole lot of damage and get aggressive on a Queen of Pain. All you have to do is Shadow Strike and trade hits with him, as long as you don't get too many stacks on you. Once you get 3 or 4 stacks, you back off. So Queen of Pain can be a bit more active in this lane, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you see your opponents go boots first, you should be punishing that. It's a really weak build against harassment. The unfortunate thing for her is she went Magic Stick and two mantles, which is not really good for trading blows either. Sure, you've got the Magic Stick, but those charges aren't really that reliable. It depends if Bat wants to spam the Napalm, which in this case he is. So she could have been trading blows, but her build, I guess, not the best for doing so. Darkseer still level 1, still getting nothing. LOD at least getting something off the Ancients. You can slowly chip it away. Here comes what should be the first smoke gank. Leshrac and Shadow Demon both level 2. They are going to smoke now, heading towards mid. And, well, Firefly's already been used, so I don't know if they really want to go mid. They may wrap around top.
He's got 10 stacks. Like, as far as Batrider goes, he's been spamming for days. Is this something you shouldn't let happen as a Queen of Pain?
Well,
Get that many stacks on you?
She's just wasting those charges.
Yeah, there's been 10 charges for a long, long time here, and needs to get out. Needs to just reset the timer. There we go. It does get reset.
Oh no. ADTR starts it up with Disruption. Now the Soul Catcher, the Splitter, and 2 auto attacks should do the trick. Down he goes. Down she goes. Yikes. Yeah, she had just used that one earlier. She would have had another 4 or 5 charges. Probably would have been able to live there, and that smoke gank would have wasted a lot of time. Instead, first blood going to Moss.
Yeah, I mean, mostly just taking too much damage from the Batrider. Once you get those 7-8 stacks on you, just blink away and wait for it to reset to 0. And Batrider's never going to go in, because Batrider, most of the damage came from the Flame Break. He got 10 Napalms and then Flame Break for a ton of damage. So it could have just been avoided by not allowing yourself to get stacked that much. But for now, it's the Malay All-Stars who strike first. The smoke from the Shadow Demon Leshrac. They come around, they get the first blood, and they've got Luna free farming the entire time. They're trading Luna free farm for a Lifestealer, but as long as, I mean, they're having their supports active on the map and they get sort of aggressive pushing down towers in the mid game, they can get the better of that trade.
Yeah, the Batrider going boots first wasn't punished in the laning stage, and now he's got a first blood experience to his name, and Queen of Pain really on the defensive. Has the bottle, but without boots, you actually have to be very careful. If you blink away and then get Flame Break back in, you're dead. Blink has a very long cooldown at level 1. So normally Queen of Pain just can't be killed, but in this matchup, if you mess up a blink, especially being down boots to an opponent who has them, not much you can do, and as a result, she's being completely zoned out of the lane. And the Lifestealer versus Luna trade, what do you think about that?
Well, Lifesteal is, I mean, it's slightly more single target DPS, but ultimately having a Luna with a lot of early farm with this kind of a lineup for Malaysian All-Stars works out better for them, because once Luna has your first big item, they can just start grouping up, taking down tower by tower. You've got Batrider with a Blink initiation, you've got Windrunner to pick yourself up a mech. I mean, I imagine around about the 15 to 20 minute mark, Malay All-Stars can just take all 6 outer towers with relative ease, unless we see sort of Darkseer and Queen of Pain getting a decent sort of early game start, which hasn't happened with Queen of Pain. So I think it definitely works out better for the Malay All-Stars, because they can really start to snowball. Whereas Lifestealer, it's less snowball and more sort of late game carry.
Yeah, Disruptor is not really doing that much pulling. You can see Shadow Demon and Leshrac are keeping pace in the levels. In fact, Shadow Demon's ahead, despite going for that smoke mid, using a lot of time. Then they journeyed bottom. Now they're back pushing top, so they've been all over the place. I don't think the pulling has been particularly efficient from 9. I've seen Disruptor in the lane quite a bit. And realistically, what you want to do is just plop down a lane ward. The Windrunner's not even in the lane half the time. She's been farming Ancients, and now she's up to level 4. They push the lane towards the tower, but they're not actually taking that tower. Just not really the best lane control, and top lane, this could be, it's a level 1 Darkseer. He's still level 1, and down will go. Queen of Pain comes in. Luna trying to find the escape path here, will not be able to do so. Popsicle glimpses, there's the glimpse pack. 2 heroes get caught, what an incredible glimpse, and the kinetic field. All of a sudden, 5 heroes topped. And, well, there's a couple of kills. Moss not expecting the full team rotation of the top lane. Not something you see too often, and, well, we should see pushing bottom and mid from Moss as a response, so that's what they're going to do now.
Yeah, a huge amount of TPs coming in life. So, I mean, getting himself a couple assists now also can farm the top lane. Windrunner can start sort of pushing away, putting some pressure on bottom lane, but realistically, you're not going to be taking this tower anytime soon. You maybe do a couple hundred damage. So it's a good trade for 9 esports, and getting themselves some much-needed kills here, including a kill on the Luna.
I would like to see them just
Radiant's
disperse
bottom
now. They're
tower
just sitting
is under
top. They're
attack.
not going to push this tower this early. There is still Eclipse online, as well as a Batrider who has a haste turn bottled and a TP. You do not want to force the issue here. Send the Darkseer back in the jungle.
Radiant's
Get that
bottom
man
tower
level
is
2,
under
because
attack.
boy does he need it. Meanwhile, Windrunner getting free farm and free levels on the bottom lane. So while it looked like a good trade, they're giving up a lot now, and you can just see sort of the inexperience of 9ES. The support's not entirely sure what to do with themselves after that engagement, and just showing kind of the inefficiency that's common to newer players.
Yeah, they're going to commit. I mean, they're basically going to commit to this top lane. Darkseer's still lingering around. He's now hit level 2. But, yeah.
There's still a bat with a haste turn bottle who's level 7 and has a TP. You just can't dive this.
Middle
They
is
send
missing.
Lifestealer back bottom, so they decide against it, and now Sankey needs to get out of here. He's probably going to go down to this. As, there's not really
Disruptor's
much
gonna
way
try
out
to
of
help
this.
him. He's gonna pay. Yeah, should have just let him go. Now this might be 3 heroes dead. Oh, it looks like Disruptor will escape. The Darkseer is still only level 2. Oh, yeah.
And Luna last hits both of those, so he helps himself get back in this game. Well, not so much back in this game, but sort of further ahead in some ways, as he did die in that last engagement top. And now the towers are going to start to falling. They're going to start with this tier 1 at top, and there's no real response or counter push coming out from 9 Esports. They don't have the heroes that can really pressure towers all that well.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they got those 3 kills, we should have seen Darkseer go immediately back to the small camp, just leave somebody in the top lane, or leave the Darkseer there. There's no point having 4 heroes in the lane doing absolutely nothing. A lot of wasted time. Windrunner's getting so much experience, almost level 6, as the off lane against a tri-lane. And we were talking about how really just the 2 of them have played properly. The Disruptor and the Lifestealer can keep Windrunner out of experience range for the most part, but unfortunately they give up their first tower. You said 6 could fall in 20 minutes. Well, 1's down to 9, so a little bit of a slow start, but let's see if they can pick it up.
Yeah, I'm still confident they can get 6 down by 20 minutes. We'll have to see. It'll be close. 20-25 minutes, I reckon. Most of these outer towers will be down. If this game continues to go according to plan from Malaysian All-Stars, they did have that one little hiccup at top lane where all the TPs came in, but they're now positioning themselves for another engagement on this top lane. They've got the lane ward. They kind of know how many heroes they're up against, and if they can get a disruption, they may be able to find some kills.
There's still an Eclipse. Watch out. Here comes Kechi Kimba. Oh, nice split earth. Kechi, unfortunately, the connect kill just a little bit too late. The glimpse was just a little bit too soon. Didn't quite pull the Shadow Demon back where they wanted him to, and he will be able to escape. And 5 heroes parked top, but not actually accomplishing anything. Just something that you see a lot of these newer teams do is they send too many heroes to deal with every engagement, and especially you have to know when to cut your losses. In that fight, they just couldn't make anything happen with those TPs. Much better to leave somebody bottom, just farming, at least put a little bit of pressure on the Windrunner. Instead, Arcane's up on her, and just too many trades really going in favor of Moss right now.
Yeah, it's a really sad Darkseer, still sitting on this Soul Ring recipe and nowhere even in sight of getting his Soul Ring up. So for 9 at this point, they need to just make sure they can get some XP and farm on some of these key heroes. Queen of Pain's doing alright here, but Darkseer, as mentioned, should just go in the jungle. Maybe this top lane's getting more and more dangerous now that the supports have levels, because Shadow Demon and Lestrat can kill him without the Luna being there. I mean, Shadow Demon can practically solo kill Darkseer at this point using the Purge to get rid of the Surge. So Darkseer just needs to go into the Newt, get himself some basic items and farm up. And, I mean, even the same thing can apply to some of these supports. Disruptor and Sankey, they're level 4, level 5, but they just don't really offer much.
I just did a bad thing. I looked at the golden experience graphs. I should not have done that. We'll just pretend we didn't see those. It is a dead even game, guys. 9 is on the verge of a comeback here. It's looking really good for them. Unfortunately, it's not. The one thing they have going for them is the Lifestealer. And the problem is, Lifestealer is up against so many heroes that can counter him effectively. Lasso, Demonic Purge, and even just the auto attacks from Luna and her team with the bonus damage from Lunar Blessing. The way that Moss's team is constructed, it's perfectly equipped to deal with one farm carry, especially a melee one that can be kited like Lifestealer. And even though they have a Queen of Pain with level, she's not that farm. Her CS is 31. Again, started again against a Boots first Batrider and just didn't harass him early. And you can see her really paying for it now. I think the Blink Dagger should be up. Indeed it is. Blink, Bottle, and Tranquil Boots. And I think he had all of this around 10.5 minutes. He's going to go in, starts with the Blink, pulls her back in. They could disrupt into a Split Earth. They're just going to use the Split Earth first, then the Lightning. Not even needed. That was painful.
Yeah, they're doing a ton of damage here. And the one way I can see 9 Esports sort of holding their own a bit and getting themselves some kill and some farm to go their way is going to be with the Queen of Pain and Lifesteal. We can have some infest into this Queen of Pain and get Lifesteal into the middle of the fight once he has his armlet up. Queen of Pain can do a decent amount of damage. He's actually just gone back for a couple more talismans, so going for these cheap items, but apart from that, it's really difficult for 9 Esports to start defending these lanes, and they're just giving more and more space for the Malay All-Stars to get more farm. And specifically on Luna, we're going to be seeing probably a Manta style, maybe even just a straight BKB up very, very soon.
This Soul Rain is just not happening. The problem is it's not like, well, I can't build my Scythe device, I guess I'll get a BKB instead. I can't even build one of the most basic items in the game. It doesn't get any sadder than this, folks. Tears are being shed right now, and most of them by Vin Diesel himself. I never thought I'd see the day where Vin Diesel cried on camera, but it's happening now.
Well, it could be a first. Whoa, what's that echo?
Meanwhile, Gods is talking to himself. Pretty standard stuff.
Yeah.
BKB coming out for Luna.
God's talking to himself. I'm going crazy here. I had all kinds of audio coming at me from all kinds of different directions here. But yeah, Luna decides to go for BKB, so not going to look at a Manta style. I mean, there's not a whole lot you need the BKB for. I mean, there's magic damage coming from Queen of Pain and Sand King. If you want to just go for the damage output, which you have got the security to do so with this kind of a lead. Not to mention, I imagine a mech coming up soon on the Windrunner. But having the BKB is always going to be the safer route to take.
Yeah, I like the BKB in this game. The only way she's going to be in trouble is if she gets caught in that Static Storm kinetic field. Maybe she can't get her ult off. This prevents that. Sand King, not really a big concern for the initiation because, well, he's only got a level 3 Burrow Strike, and Darkseer's only level 3 as well. Look at Vin Diesel. He's just so underleveled that he's even taking an early point in vacuum because he knows the late stage is basically over. Queen of Pain is dead. There's another hero that's going to fall probably. Here comes the Disruptor getting caught out of position. Even a Courier joins the fight. Burrow Strike, but it's a midget move and jumps up the cliff. Not sufficient. The final kill on the Disruptor, so 3 heroes dead. Just really a cacophony of errors, and 9ES just getting completely destroyed. Oh, this is a bit painful to watch.
Yeah, luckily it is going to be Malaysian All-Stars just going down the mid lane. They're going to take themselves a tier 2. We'll have to see how much they're going to look to commit for this push. They have got no Batrider Lasso, but all in all, they've got a big farm lead, a big item lead, and the Lunar Aura is going to help them push faster and faster. So for them, it's not going to be hugely difficult to take these outer towers. Once they want to go higher ground, push into these tier 3s, it will get slightly harder, but maybe they'll go for something like an Aegis before trying to do that.
I gotta say, this is just easy Roche pickings right now for Moss. Get that tier 1 bottom. I'm so honestly surprised the Windrunner has not already taken it. The lane's been mostly abandoned for the better part of 3 or 4 minutes with all the action mid, all the action top. Finally, this tower is going to fall, and with that, Roche is just wide open. 9ES cannot contest it. They have a great lineup to contest Roche with levels, but they don't have those levels, so... Well, this is where that dagger is just slowly twisted. Kachika try to TP away. There's no way to cancel this TP. And another sad moment for 9. Is there anything these guys have to look forward to right now? I'm searching for that ray of light, and I'm coming up empty.
Yeah, I mean, as mentioned, they can go for some lifestealer bombs, maybe get a kill here or there, but all in all, it's not going to win them a team fight. Maybe it'll get them a kill on a hero like a Leshrac or a Shadow Demon, one of the squishy heroes. Maybe they even kill something like the Batrider, but they'll still ultimately lose the fight. They'll have to throw everything at killing 1 or 2 heroes, and in a long, drawn-out fight, they're not going to win it. Especially once we see this mech up on the Windrunner. It's now completed, so mech on the Windrunner.
Uh-oh,
this push is getting worse.
Yep, Go jumps in, pulls the Queen of Pain. That is some serious hate on the Sadist herself, and now Ken's on the way out. Likely to... he'll be surged away. He should be okay. Sand King lurking on the high ground, and they saw him, apparently, or they just expected to be there. Kens gets shackled to a tree, in comes Luna, Demonic Purge as well, and Lifestar is just helpless while being purged. Bat blinks forward into 4 heroes, manly play from FYZ. Now the Glimpse back, trying to pull him away, shackle on 2, and down the go. I feel sad. It's like, you know, have you ever tried to build a house of cards? This is like when you get that first 2 levels going, and then you just slightly mess up, and everything just collapses.
And there's no rebuilding. You just you don't even. Well, I guess you attempt to rebuild, but every time you attempt to rebuild, you just keep on crumbling and falling on that first or second level. They're not even coming close to reaching those upper echelons. This is just some dominating performance coming out of the Malay All-Stars.
Yeah, this is not like attempt number 1 on building that house of cards. It's like attempt number 3 where you're just like, fuck it, I need a drink, and you just walk away. Oh boy. So, Moss looking like this should be a pretty easy chance for them to take the tier 2 bottom. Although Kachikemba feeling rather aggressive. He does have the BKB here. If they can get that initial stun from the Sand King and he doesn't pop the BKB in time, they could possibly bring him down. But now the backup has arrived. Shadow Demon and Leshrac are here. And Sand King, it's so hard to get in range of that Luna, even until you have that level 4 Burrow Strike. And even then it can be quite difficult with Tranquil Boots, drums, and the high base move speed. 425 move speed before you pop the drums. Even getting in range to cast that Burrow, maybe they could start with a Surge, but may just die to a nuke or two. And 3v5, now 4v5, they're pushing this tower. Finally, perhaps bored, LOD decides to join the push, and he's already got a back flyer. Has blinked in, he wants, oh, a nice flame break, hits out quite a few, but is it going to be enough? Eclipse was actually thrown just to get the Queen of Pain. Boy, they just hate her so much. You know why? It's because Popsicle doesn't have the X's bookending his name. That's the problem.
And you can't go for the life stealer because, well, he's a freaking life stealer. He's an invulnerable hero, so it's the Queen of Pain who's suffering the onslaught of not having the X's in his name, letting down the team.
I feel very sad right now. I hope the rest of the game today will cheer me up as Kenz will be the next victim in what appears to be just an endless parade of them. Nice power shot on two. When the power shot does that much damage, and then you see the power of the Luna. Triple for her. Kachikemba once more. Queen of Pain ult only hits the Luna. Not really going to do anything aside from that. Darkseer's going to drop neck. Now the Shackle, but just in time to clean them up. And they're going to respawn. The good thing about being this far behind, you come right back into the Meat Grinder.
Yeah, problem is, well, they're going to come back to a bottom racks down, it looks like, at this rate, even with 3 heroes back there. This is just dropping so damn fast. The Malaysian All-Stars have just got a complete stranglehold over this game, and 9 Esports can just sit there and watch as their racks fall, and this game gets completely out of their hands.
Everything is burning all around you. What do you do? Jump into the ocean. Take a bath. There's no water in sight though. They have to get to the river. This is where you smoke. You run north. You go bathe for a bit. Cool yourselves off because your house is on fire. And it's not safe here anymore. This is no place for 9ES.
Insert house on fire spam into Twitch chat. Have you seen the new Twitch emoticons?
Yeah, by the way, shameless plug, we have new emoticons. Queen of Pain jumps in into what should be her demise. Shackle on 2 again from LOD, but they're making it easy for him. Jumping and just basically lining the pins up for him. The final Lucid Beam. The Burrow Strike away was decent, but not really enough. He'll fall as well. And so, yeah, by the way, as we might see in one more kill here. No Shackle for you, sir. But yeah, we have new Twitch emoticons, including Home on Fire.
Yeah.
Home in trouble, really, but it's a house on fire.
Middle tower is under attack.
It's anything going on in the home. I feel like Winter even looks like the kid from Home Alone.
Yeah, he's the Malaysian version of Macaulay Culkin. Yeah. I cannot say that name. Macaulay Culkin. Is that it? I think so.
I think you're close enough for my liking. As Australians, we mispronounce everything anyway.
Hey, he had good hair as a kid, so you two have something in common. Burrow Strike in, only on the Shadow Demon. Look at the Shadow Demon. He's got 11 charges now. The Eclipse can cheek Imba. It's not even Imba, though. It's just easy. Ultra for him.
Yeah, at this point, everything going right from Malaysian All-Stars. I mean, Luna getting kill after kill. Windrunner hitting some beastly shackle shots, but like you say, they're lining up and just making... basically gift wrapping half these kills to Malaysian All-Stars once you fall this far behind. And they did it, I mean, they really held on. They kept on playing despite being behind by 10, 15k gold, so they showed some sort of determination and willingness to keep on fighting. So respect for that, but in the end, it was just a more experienced and a more sort of established team in the Malay All-Stars who do come out on top.
Yeah, just showing their experience, going a little more conventional. The one thing that we really questioned with 9DS was what was their plan in the laning stage? But even then, a lot of it just came down to execution. Things like the Queen of Pain not being aggressive against Bat Rider. When you see Boots first Bat, you can go and harass him, absolutely. Especially because they saw Leshrac in the top lane, so she knew that early smoke gank wasn't coming at like the 1 minute mark. And then, of course, you look at the top lane. The Darkseer just sat there, didn't go into the jungle at any point, didn't even take a risk. As an off-laner, you have to either just abandon the lane, get some experience either off the Ancients, the jungle, or you take a risk and try to get out of the lane. Just sitting in your tower and getting nothing is a recipe for disaster in most cases, especially when you're competing against the enemy off-lane and they're getting a lot more. So, 9ES, the road ends here for Malaysian All-Stars. They're just getting started.
Yeah, they're just getting started, and we're also just getting started here with your GMPGL Malaysia, the qualifier for the GEST Dota 2. Tons of great teams: Orange, Winter's new team ABC, Invasion Red. Lots more games to come. I think it's today as well as tomorrow, a 2-day affair, and we'll be covering it here on Beyond the Summit.
Yeah, stay tuned, guys. More action from the GEST Dota 2 Malaysia qualifier for the GMPGL coming up soon. In the meantime, it's all the God signing off.